Hi, Assalamualaikum and greetings everyone. I am Jawati binti Johari. You can call me Jojo, and I'm from the National Defence University of Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank the organizer for allowing me to record my presentation due to some difficulties that I am facing. So basically, I would like to share the work that my friend and I at the university is doing currently. So it is this work or this research on online presence, and particularly for this presentation, we're going to look at the preliminary stage or data that we have collected. So the title of this presentation, Online Presence, what it means for educators. So let's begin. What is online presence? How to ensure online presence is effective? When you talk about effective, that means the students are able to get what they are supposed to be getting. And why online presence is critical. Now, before 2020, before the world is, the world had to face this pandemic, COVID-19. I've never taught online. Therefore, in March 2020, when I had to change from teaching physically to teaching online, I had problem. And I'm sure some of us, if not all of us, some of us had problem as well, especially to adapt to the new learning environment, new teaching and learning environment. And it's not only the students that have problem. We have to admit that we as educators too, we have these difficulties, especially at the beginning of the pandemic. So online presence is actually a term used to describe the presence of educators online during teaching and learning session. And we are talking about online learning, of course, online teaching and learning. And how to ensure our online presence is effective, how to ensure that our online learning gives impact to the students, especially in terms of their motivation as well as in terms of their academic performance. And most of us may feel that online presence is not a crucial factor. But for some scholars, they opine that online presence is very crucial in order to engage the students, in order to ensure that the students keep active and they keep participating during the online learning itself. So, when you talk about online teaching and learning, always educators will feel that, okay, the students are now everywhere, so they can actually study, they can log into the system, the portal, anywhere, anytime. And because of that, we have these expectations that students must be able to be on time, for example, or must be able to participate because there's no restriction in terms of they have to come, they have to travel. No, they can be anywhere, anytime. So because of that, the students too expect the educators to be present online. And how to do this and what does this have to do with their performance, we're going to look at it in a while. So the research objective, particularly for this work that I'm presenting, is very simple, very straightforward. We want to answer a question on educators' online presence. Particularly, we want to look at the understanding of educators at one public university in Malaysia, which is the National Defence University of Malaysia, on the importance of online presence to ensure effective teaching online. So that's very crucial. Because when we started to teach online, starting March 2020, I remember the university had to do a lot of online support to the staff as well as to the students, and some educators did complain about the fact that they are not sure whether the students can actually get what they are doing, or they are not sure whether the students were really listening, or whether they were engaged during the online learning process. So because of that, my team members and I have this idea that perhaps online presence is actually one of the keys, or can be one of the keys, to ensure that students keep motivating themselves. So we will see how it goes. Now, we would like to draw your attention to this one particular research by means and the group members, the research members in 2014. They suggested that lecturers or educators can have active, or another word, big, can have small, or can have no presence at all during online teaching and learning sessions. So we believe that if you are talking about having a big presence online or active presence online, that means they are catering to students who are weak, basically, at that particular course, or weaker students, and perhaps younger students, because they need more attention from the educators. And if, let's say, you want to apply small presence online, perhaps your students are good students. Your students can actually be independent learners. They know what to do, they know how to go about doing things, and perhaps they are more matured students. And if, let's say, there's no presence at all required, or if you feel that, oh, I don't need to make my presence known or whatsoever, perhaps you have a different idea of how online teaching and learning should be conducted. Regardless of whether you choose to have a big, small, or no presence at all online, all this will actually affect the students in one way or the other. And this one here, I took this from the Arizona State University, this diagram. When we started to teach online, I actually look around and search for the best way, because I've never taught online before, so I wasn't sure of how to conduct the classes online. And although I'm quite quick at adapting in terms of adapting the resources, changing the learning materials, but I'm sure that along the way, most of us will feel that we are not equipped with teaching online. We were not trained, perhaps, to face this kind of challenges. So I found this from Arizona State University, and I believe that this is very, very critical, very, very important, and can be applied in our teaching online. Although today some of us have returned to our physical teaching or face-to-face teaching, I believe that some of us still have hybrid sessions. So this can be actually combined and applied together. So basically, best practices for teaching online. And I would like to draw your attention to instructor presence. So basically, instructor presence is a critical part, or one of the best practices, according to Arizona State University. And we are expected, the educators or the instructors are expected to establish teaching presence early and often. And I believe that often is referring to big online presence. So how do you do that? Arizona State University suggested you post announcements in the portal, you appear on video. For example, if you have a recorded video to be sent and shared with the students, you make sure that your face appear on the video and you participate actively in discussions with the students. Now, the thing about showing your face or appearing on video is the fact that the students can see your personality. Your personality will be reflected, your passion, your expertise, your facial expressions, whether you are happy to meet them, whether you are happy to be teaching, to be doing this. So all those contribute to students' feel of confidence, as well as motivate them to study online. And the other thing is the fact that prompt feedback. One of the, I would say, elements or perhaps criteria, if you talk about online presence of educators, is the fact that you must be able to give prompt feedback, especially for synchronous online learning and teaching. So if the students ask directly, you can answer. You don't just ignore the students. All this is very important. The students feel vulnerable when they are learning online, because it's different. There's no physical touch. They cannot see clearly. What they can see is just the screen being shared. So they are not sure of many things. So if they ask questions and you give feedback immediately, that would help the students to feel, as I said, more confident and sure of what they are doing. So this, I like this very much. I use this a lot even in my teaching, because I believe that I'm also learning a lot during the pandemic in terms of acquiring new skills and new knowledge. So perhaps pandemic is not bad at all, am I right? Because you get to learn more things. So now we look at a little bit on the methodology, because this is at the earliest stage of our research work. So we adopted qualitative research design. There's only 2 questions asked, and we only asked to 11 respondents. So the sampling method is convenience. During this one online training that educators at my university had, and then suddenly I realized that there's something about online presence that perhaps can help educators to improve our teaching skills. So I suddenly and quickly realized that perhaps let's ask 1 or 2 questions. So I asked anybody anybody who's interested to chat or to talk online after the webinar ended, and 11 of them stayed, and we had it's not long, just about 10 minutes discussion. So 2 questions were given to them. Do they know about online presence? Do they know what is online presence, and what do they think about online presence in comparison to other aspects of teaching online, and whether they actually switch on their camera during their teaching online. So this was actually asked during the 4th semester the 4th and the final semester that we had to teach online. So that was 2 semesters ago, or a year ago, the questions was asked. And the findings, a little bit on the findings, there's only 11 respondents. So these 11 educators surprisingly opined that online presence is less important than the materials to be used during online teaching. And I'm sure that if we were to have more, because now we are in the process of collecting more data, so I'm sure that when we look at the latest data, we will find variation of answers. But for these 11 educators, they opine that online presence is less important than materials. So they were focusing on the most effective, I would say, materials to be used during online teaching. And these 11 educators admitted that they did not feel comfortable switching on the cameras during online teaching. And when I asked when did they feel uncomfortable, the first semester, the second semester, the third or the fourth semester that we had to teach online, they say overall they did not switch on the cameras most of the time. And when I just asked why do you think that you did not want to switch switch on the camera, they say that they just don't feel comfortable, and they said that something to the extent that the students know that they are there, and that's enough, because the session is live session, synchronous learning. So I said, okay, thank you very much, not a problem at all. But we did exchange some ideas on how to actually go about improving the online presence. And I remember one respondent asked, why is it so important to make your presence known? Okay, to make your presence known. And I told this particular respondent the fact that the students are unsure of things, so they need to be reassured that, okay, we are here, we are together in this situation, so let's help each other. And then that respondent said, okay, perhaps next time we can improve more on this. So that's a good sign, a positive sign, I believe. Therefore, from the conversation, the informal conversation, I would say that two things. The first one is the fact that because we were not used to teach online, we may lack the technical skills or computing facilities. Do not be surprised that some of us, not only the students, but some of us, the educators, may lack computing facilities. So perhaps this is one of the reasons why they did not feel that online presence is important. And secondly, we were not exposed, or we were not informed of the importance of online presence, because there's no guideline. When we started to teach online, there's no guideline specifically saying that, okay, you have to make sure that your presence is known. We were just asked to conduct lectures. It can be synchronous or it can be asynchronous. So it's very hard for some of us to interpret this expectation. So perhaps we were not informed, we were not exposed to the importance of online presence. Ladies and gentlemen, to conclude, because this is an ongoing research, at this point we can only say that the 11 educators, or the respondents, 11 respondents, did not view online presence as an important aspect for teaching and learning online. And perhaps during the discussion itself, at the end of it, we throw suggestions, solutions in order to improve online presence, regardless of whether it's big presence or active presence or small presence online. So perhaps we can try this solution. First, switching on cameras during synchronous teaching sessions. This is very critical. The students get to see you, the students get to look at you and understand maybe your facial expressions. And then weekly updates about the course and about the activities through the communication channels of the class. So I use WhatsApp group. So I will keep posting, for example, okay, today during our class we are going to do this A, B, C, D. So I will normally, my class was normally on Mondays and Tuesdays. So on Sundays at around say 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I will just post information about the next day activity. I will inform them so that they are aware, okay, although we do not see each other, excuse me, although we do not see each other, we can, still connect. So that's very important. And then the last one, immediate feedback. As has been suggested by Arizona State University itself, the immediate feedback is very important in order to facilitate students' learning. And ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end. Perhaps I cannot answer I may not have the questions now because this is a recorded session, but should you have anything to ask, or if you want to share anything, please, I can be reached at, this is my contact information, Jowati, Jowati at upenm.edu.my, and I'm on social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And RTJ, ATIEJAY. With that, thank you very much, and hope to see everyone physically in the future. Thank you very much. Good day, and Assalamualaikum.